Look, I just believe this is in America's interest. I think Putin is a very dangerous man.
We've gotten away from putting America first.
21-year Congressman Tom Cole and political newcomer Paul Bondar agree on a lot of things as fellow Republicans, but they do not see eye to eye on the continued billions in U.S. aid and weapons being sent to help Ukraine in its fight against Russia.
It's a brutal invasion. Tens of thousands of Ukrainians have been killed. Frankly, tens of thousands of Russians have died. And if anybody thinks he will stop here, I think you're just sadly unaware of the lessons of history.
Bondar says we should pause those payments until we spend the money needed to secure the U.S. border with Mexico.
Here's the problem with this, fundamentally wrong. We're being told that we cannot close the border. We just don't have the money. I'm saying we can't afford not to close the border.
He's certainly right about the border, and unfortunately that's not a question of money, that's a question of policy. If you want to do that, you have to do something we actually both agree on, which is elect Donald Trump as president.
Bondar says Cole's powerful position in Congress makes his stance on this even worse.
And Mr. Cole is the head of the Appropriations Committee.
He is now,
He
yes.
He has the power of the purse. The solution could have been a couple different things. We're not going to pass this Ukraine funding unless some of the money goes towards sealing the border. He didn't do that. Why not? I don't know. I'm disappointed.
But Congressman Cole says the U.S. is already sending a smaller percentage of its budget to Ukraine than other NATO allies, and he plans to stay the course.
We've not been asked to send people to fight, people to die. We've been asked to give people the tools to defend themselves. We did that with the British in the Second World War. I think it was the right thing then. I think this is the right thing now.
Now, Bondar did tell me that he'd be more open to continuing sending aid if it was more in the form of a loan, not a gift. And so we'll see what voters have to say.